In today's video I will talk about Konnektoren, Konjunktionen, especially about syntax von Kausal- und Konsekutiv-Konnektoren. Let's start with the three Kausal-Konnektoren da, weil, zumal. All three of them will trigger a Nebensatz. So we have a Hauptsatz on the left side, and after that the Kausal Nebensatz. Kausal means there's a cause, a reason for that. On the left side we have the situation, on the right side the solution. This is the structure. You can pause the video and analyze it later. Here we have in a Hauptsatz position 1, 2, 3, and in a Nebensatz we start again with position 1, 2, 3 and so forth. My sentence is: Karl kauft ein neues Auto, da, Konnektor, sein altes Auto kaputt ist. And the same structure is true for the connectors weil and zumal. So to mention this already, we do not count words when we talk about positions, we talk about modules, diba? So here we have three words, but they are counted as one module. That's why this is three of them together is one position. Same here, three words but one module, so therefore all of that is one position. In Hauptsatz the verb is normally on position 2, as you know, and in a Nebensatz the verb is at the end, of course. Now we talk about an exception. This is also a Kausal connector, but still this one creates 2 times a Hauptsatz. Left side we have again Karl kauft ein neues Auto, then a special connector denn, and in the second Hauptsatz sein altes Auto ist kaputt. This alone would be a Hauptsatz. Sein altes Auto ist kaputt, that's a Hauptsatz of its own anyway, and with this connector we connect those two Hauptsätze. Again, this is the first module here, and there's another one module here. Hauptsatz, so the verb is on position 2. Hauptsatz, the verb is also on position 2. How do we count? Position 1, 2, 3, so position 2 is the verb in the first Hauptsatz. Position 1, 2, 3, the verb is on position 2 in the second Hauptsatz. But here's the exception, the connector denn. The connector then is not counted. This is position 0. The Hauptsatz starts actually here, that's why we count from here 1, 2, 3, and that's why the verb with that connector is here. Next connectors, they are so-called Konsekutiv-Konnektoren. That means there's a consequence. Here is the reason, and this is the consequence on that side. This will also create Hauptsätze. They are called aus diesem Grund, daher, darum, deshalb, deswegen. Same structure, same counting. Here's the sentence: Sein altes Auto ist kaputt. That's the reason. Aus diesem Grund kauft Karl ein neues Auto. And the same is true for the connectors called daher, darum, deshalb, deswegen. Please pay attention that these start with letter D. I come to that in a moment. So of course, Hauptsatz, the verb is on position 2. And of course, in the second Hauptsatz, the verb is on position 2. We count this time, starting with the connector, starting with the Hauptsatz. Connector is position 1, and then the verb is on position 2. As I said, the connector this time is counted as position 1. Now we have these three connectors, warum, weshalb, weswegen. They will create a Nebensatz, and why that is I will tell you. So on the left side is the Hauptsatz, the reason, and here is the Kausal Nebensatz, the cause. Same structure, same counting. Sein altes Auto ist kaputt, warum Karl ein neues Auto kauft. Same is true for weshalb and weswegen. So the verb in the Hauptsatz, of course, is on position 2. The verb in the Nebensatz is, of course, at position Ende. So why is this a Nebensatz? Because those three words, you might remember them, are actually Fragewörter, question words. W Fragewörter, when they are used after the comma, they trigger a Nebensatz. And you know other W-Fragewörter, for example, wer, wie, wo, was, wieso. So, because these are W-Fragewörter, that's why they trigger a Nebensatz. Now, as a final topic, we talk about inversion. What is inversion? It means that the Nebensatz stands before the Hauptsatz. So here's our sentence again, Hauptsatz, Nebensatz. Karl kauft ein neues Auto, da or weil or zumal sein altes Auto kaputt ist, like before. Now we will put the Nebensatz ahead of the Hauptsatz. But before that, the Hauptsatz has the verb on position 2. The Nebensatz, of course, has the verb at the end. So this is the inversion now. The Nebensatz first. You can see that the Hauptsatz is almost identical. Here it's Karl kauft ein neues Auto. But here, the subject Karl goes on position 2. The verb goes on position 1 in this inversion version. That starts with the Nebensatz. And therefore, in the inversion, this is the Nebensatz, the verb is at the very end, while the verb in this Hauptsatz is on position 1. Okay, that's a mistake. In this video, I will talk about Konnektoren, Konjunktionen, especially about the syntax von Kausal- und Konsekutiv-Konnektoren. Let's start with the connectors da, weil, zumal, which will create a Nebensatz. So we have a Hauptsatz on the left side, followed by a Kausal Nebensatz. Kausal means a cause, there's a reason mentioned. So this is the structure. You can analyze that later and pause the video if you like. This is how we count the position of the elements. And here's the example sentence. Karl kauft ein neues Auto, da sein altes Auto kaputt ist. Da is our connector. The same sentence would be identical if we use connectors like weil and zumal. So let me mention at this point that we're thinking in modules. So there's a word 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are 3 words, but we don't count words, we count them as module. So those 3 words are one module, and therefore this is position 3, one single position. Same is true here, of course. 3 words, one module, we count them as one position. Of course, the verb in a Hauptsatz is on position 2, and the verb in a Nebensatz is at the end. Now we talk about an exception of a causal connector, the connector denn. Structure is pretty much the same. Karl kauft ein neues Auto, then followed by the connector denn, and then this one triggers a complete new Hauptsatz. Sein altes Auto ist kaputt. As you understand, this alone would be a Hauptsatz without connector already. Sein altes Auto ist kaputt. With a connector we combine those 2 sentences into one, but 2 Hauptsätze. Denn sein altes Auto ist kaputt. Again, this is one module. This is also one module. And the verb in the first Hauptsatz is on position 2. And the verb in the second Hauptsatz is also position 2, even though it doesn't look like that. How come? We count position 1, 2, 3, Hauptsatz. The verb is on position 2. Second Hauptsatz, position 1, 2, 3. The verb is also on position 2. As I said, this is one module counted as one position. And the exception here is that the connector denn, especially this one, does not count. This one is at position 0. Let's talk about other connectors, so-called Konsekutiv-Konnektoren, which are expressing a consequence. Here's the reason and here will be the consequence. They are called aus diesem Grund, daher, darum, deshalb, deswegen. Same structure, positioning. Our sample sentence is sein altes Auto ist kaputt. Aus diesem Grund, Connector, kauft Karl ein neues Auto. And the same is true for the connectors daher, darum, deshalb, deswegen. Please pay attention to the letter D, darum, deshalb, deswegen. This starts with letter D. In the next slide I show you why this matters. So, of course, we have the verb on position 2. You remember, this is position 1 module. Position 2 is the verb of the Hauptsatz. And here also position 2. This time, of course, we count the connector. The connector is on position 1, therefore the verb on position 2 right after the connector. Now we talk about these three connectors. Warum, weshalb, weswegen. They will create a Nebensatz. Why is that? Same structure. Sein altes Auto ist kaputt. Warum Karl ein neues Auto kauft. And the same is true for weshalb, weswegen. Now pay attention that these connectors start with letter W. And they are not just connectors, they are at the same time Fragewörter. I will mention that in a moment. So in the first Hauptsatz here, the verb is of course in position 2. You already know why we count like that. And in the Nebensatz, of course, the verb is at the end. So these three words are not just connectors, they are so-called W-Fragewörter, W question words. And if you use a W question word, a W-Fragewort nach dem Komma, after the comma, it will trigger a Nebensatz. And you know other W-Fragewörter, for example, wer, wie, wo, was, wieso. Whenever you use them, they will trigger a Nebensatz if they are used after the comma. Last topic is the so-called inversion. An inversion is when the Nebensatz is in front, ahead of the Hauptsatz. So we have our same sample sentence as before with the positioning. Hauptsatz, Karl kauft ein neues Auto. Nebensatz, da sein altes Auto kaputt ist. Now we will put the Nebensatz ahead of this one. But first, the verb in the Hauptsatz is on position 2, and of course in the Nebensatz the verb is in position Ende. Nothing new. So here comes the inversion. The Nebensatz starts here with da sein altes Auto kaputt ist, kauft Karl ein neues Auto. This is the Hauptsatz. And when you compare it to the upper one, Auto is on the same position, neues ein is at the same position, but the subject Karl in this inversion goes on position 2, while the verb in the Hauptsatz, which was position 2, goes here in the inversion to position 1. That's extreme. So this is an inversion. The Nebensatz comes before the Hauptsatz, and that's when in that Hauptsatz here the verb and the subject change position. That's why in the inversion, yes, the verb is still at the end, but exception, the verb of this Hauptsatz in an inversion, and only there the verb is on position 1. Only in this video with these three connectors this is possible to have an inversion. With the other connectors that I showed earlier it's not possible, but with those three in this video, da, weil und zumal, you can do an inversion. In our next video I'm going to show you more of these. Thanks for watching. See you next time.